All right. So once again, we're going to look at some of this. So this one should be one of the easier ones to do, module 1.5 here. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my comment tags. And one of the things I'm going to, as I start doing this more and more often, is if I in that same folder, I might even store like a template with some of these. But so this is U1, comma M1, kind of A5-PG. So long name, and what we're really looking at is so it's a form of ASCII art, and we're really just trying to show how do we print things that look graphical. So we're going to get to some graphic pieces, and certainly Python does graphics, but sometimes when I just want to write a real quick piece of code, I can do that and do it in some other ways. So I can do some clever little pieces in my introduction. Um, so I want to look at this art form. So here's how we would create this A in a very stylized manner. Now, what we're basing this on is, at least for now, everything is based on essentially roughly 80 columns across. Everything's basically a grid. Now, when we look at how text adjusts itself in the future, that may change some of those. But I would encourage you to try the A and just see how that's going to work. Um, we also have some other tools that we could add in here at some point. But what I want to think about, if we're going to create for number 3, we're going to create a flying bird. So I'm going to study this just a little bit. And so when I look at this, I'm going to look and see how many characters across. So essentially, I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. So I know that I've got 1 character, 2 character, 3 characters, 4. So what I would need to do is figure out how far apart is this space here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blanks. It looks like. So I'm going to do a print, and I'm going to do the underscore, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I can always adjust those. But then our next line down is going to be the slant symbols, or and you'll see them on your keyboard here. So we can, because we know that we need to come in 1 space, so we come in 1, and then in the middle there should be 1, 2, 3, 4 now, because we're coming in a spot on each side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we do the opposite. So instead of the backslash, we do the forward slash. All right. So for our next line, so the next line is going to be very, very similar, except we're going to have to go in 2 spaces. Print 1, 2, and then 2 dots. And then finally, the last line should be print 1, 2, 3. Now, so here I'm going to go save this real quickly. So F5 says, yes, we're going to save it. And I'm going to go back to my documents, Python files, and I'm going to save this as U1 M1 A5-PG. So I know where it's at. All right, and when I run it, it looks like this flying bird character, or as close as my artistic black can get there. So um, number 4, so the next piece of this says, all right, so now I need to create one of you need to create this stylized capital E, which this one in a weird way is a little easier. So this one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do they have in there? 6. And then I'm going to show you something kind of interesting, or what I think is interesting here. And there are lots of different ways to do this. This is just a really interesting way to do that. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. So that print line is really the same as what I'm going to do below the middle line of the E. So I'm going to actually copy it a couple times. I'm also going to copy this top one, because the top and the bottom are the same. And then I'm just going to add a couple of asterisks here. And that should give me the right character. So copy and paste. This is probably the only class, at least the only class I have, where I'm going to tell you to copy and paste. But this should create something similar to, saves it, and there's our stylized capital E. All right, so number 6 says you need to create some kind of image of your own. So if you're thinking, man, I don't know what I could do, if you just type in, you will see examples. So let's look at animals. So there's some people have created of all different kinds of stuff. So um, that might inspire you. I don't certainly expect you to do something quite as elaborate as these, but just to kind of show you what's available or what people have done. So kind of an inspiration piece. So that should finish up as soon as you create whatever it is you want to do for the next step. So for number 6, make sure that this is everything runs. All right, there is a quiz for this one, but the other thing, when you get done with this, making sure that everything runs, make sure you save it one last time. What I've seen some students do is they do the last step or whatever the last couple steps are, and they don't save it, they don't test it, and then what happens, because they uploaded this file, but before they saved it, so all of this is gone, for example. They didn't do that. So, all right, so ASCII art. Sometimes it's kind of a handy way to just make an introduction page